board members, do you have any clarifying questions? Okay. Do you have a clarifying question, Director Gao?
I just, Superintendent, and since we just went through 2 charter schools and your primary issue was financial impact on the district, and yet even though there's some discussion about my board, within my own board, that every charter we approve there's a financial impact to the district, can you state to what that impact may be with this charter school and the following charter schools?
So I deeply believe that we need to invest in serving a population that's not been well served, and this is a unique program. So part of the power of the charter, I think, is to produce and construct different ways to serve and find ways to invest in children that their needs haven't been met. I personally believe this organization and this group of individuals who are supporting and want to build a school are going to find ways to do that. I don't see it as a cost to the district. I see it as an investment in Oakland.
Okay, then the second one, and I missed the beginning discussion in terms of, there was references to regarding the petition. There was some earlier, I didn't catch the beginning of that. What was that about? In terms of the teacher or the options or the compromises or whatever that was. What were the compromises?
Right, thank you, Director Gao. Had a really strong desire to create as much room and agreement for this school to be, in essence, a dependent charter, to create the conditions inside and to provide the business services, human resources, and to provide all the support necessary, and to have employees be, in fact, employees of the Oakland Unified School District. To do that well and to meet the goals, vision, and outcomes described by the petitioners, they and we were seeking a mega waiver from the Oakland Education Association, and to create the conditions for hiring and staffing to really meet the needs of all kids. And I fundamentally believed we were going to be able to do that. We were told that agreement, while interesting, wouldn't happen for a while, and that doesn't meet my sense of urgency to serve these children now. So
are we, just to be clear, so is this an independent charter or an in-house charter?
So technically, and the charter officer can speak more clearly than I, there's not really a difference. However, this, currently the way it's framed, would be a charter that we're not the employee of record. So in that regard, it is an independent charter, yes.
Yeah. So why would there be a limitation as to, in terms of who they can hire?
There's not, but we
There's not, okay. No, I just want to be
exactly.
clear. Okay, got it. All right, thanks.
Are there other clarifying questions from board members? Vice President Hinton Hodge.
I think, Director Gao, this would have been the example of us kind of walking down that road of a mixed portfolio, of setting up some different agreements and arrangements. And because Oakland Educational Association was there at the beginning of the conversation, as Betty Olson-Jones said, we actually thought that this was going to be one of those moments where we would actually look at how we could create some different conditions inside the district, maybe not even having to go the direction of a charter. So again, kind of back to another moment of disappointment when we say that we're about doing something radically different on behalf of our children, and then we lack the courage to do that next step.
Are there other clarifying questions about the presentation?
I'd like to do a couple of acknowledgments if I could.
Okay, can I ask some clarifying questions
Sure.
first? So if I heard you correctly, Ms. Greeley, this is a school that will be only for boys.
The petition as submitted is a co-ed school. The emphasis of the program is on boys.
So can you explain to me how that plays out?
I think it's an issue that needs to be addressed by the petitioners themselves, how they will serve girls as well as while having a program that emphasizes boys, and I believe that it is their intention to revise the petition to serve only boys and do a single gender school. That is not what they submitted, but I believe that is their intention.
And then if they were to do that, would we then vote on it again because they're changing the term of the charter?
It could be done at this time as part of the text revisions that are already included in the charter. It could be an added text revision that came with your motion this evening.
So we would have to
request
make
it.
If they, how would that request come to us if it isn't here now?
Yeah. If they have submitted speaker cards and wish to address the board and request that
Okay,
your motion
so-
includes
so-
a text revision for that purpose, that could accomplish it.
Okay, and then I have another clarifying question. You were having a conversation, Superintendent, with Director Gallo about the discussion and waivers and things like that. If we were to reach an agreement, and you may not be able to answer this, but if we were to reach, if there were to be an agreement with our unions around the terms of employment, or whatever the issues, the issues that are there right now that have been, I believe, under discussion, would we be able to have the school operate as a district school?
I can just answer you with it's my strong desire that the district would make room for, and that this could be a dependent charter, that we would create the conditions for and work and serve this school. That would require agreements with all of our labor groups, and I think we have had pretty powerful conversations with a couple of the unions that have said that they are willing to make some movement. I know that there's been conversation had. For me, I would love that to be the resolution.
Okay, thank you. And Director Spearman, you wanted to say a couple of things.
Could I just ask a clarifying question first? A quick one. Regarding the collective bargaining, was one of the conditions that the staff be able to choose whether they were going to be represented by the OEA or not? Was that the condition, or was it waiver type conditions? I know you're free to describe that to us.
Do you, General Counsel, do you feel comfortable conveying that answer?
I don't need an answer. I just, because we were going down this line, I wanted to see how far you were able to communicate.
Well, all the discussions have been three-part. I mean, the district is a part, the petitioner is a part, and OEA specifically in terms of the teachers union a part. And the district's interest has been in trying to facilitate a way for the school, the community school serving African American boys largely, would be a dependent charter, which means by definition that the district would be the employer of record, and if in fact the district is the employer of record, then any employee of such a dependent charter would be a member of the collective bargaining units that we already have.
Right. I think that's the question that I wanted to ask, because under those circumstances, it would be highly advantageous to everybody, including the union, to embrace this, it seems to me.